Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second ever TrashYourTeam.com podcast. I was all alone last time, finally now being joined by my co-host, Mr. Steven, codenamed Dean. Steven.
What's going on?
Hey. Steven's actually, you guys probably know about him if you've been following TrashYourTeam.com. He is actually the author of Tom Brady is a Bitch.
It's because he is a bitch. I mean, everyone who watches professional sports knows that Tom Brady, possibly the biggest bitch in all of professional sports.
But you got to admit, though, Steven, he's a pretty bitch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the first paragraph of
chin.
my article is just talking about how awesome Tom Brady is.
Tom Brady is he's one of the only guys that the stuff under his eyes makes him look better. It really does.
Yeah. It's almost like, it's almost like he's wearing makeup, like the bitch that he is.
I guess that's a good place to start. I wanted to talk about the NFL playoffs today, and I actually, first I want to look at the two teams that lost, then look at the two teams that won. There's really no good guy in this fight. I brought that up in the last podcast, and I think that you agree with me there, Steven. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, I absolutely hate all four teams that were left. Being a lifelong Charger fan.
Ooh, sorry, everybody. Ooh, sorry.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, whatever. But hating the Broncos is in my blood just as much as hating the Bears is in your blood.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So. I kind of forgot about that. We were talking about this before the show, and I was actually saying, like, oh, at least the lesser of the two evils made it through. And you were kind of like, no, all four teams really, really suck, Roddy. I don't know what you're talking about. And I guess I didn't really think about the rivalry between the Chargers and the Broncos, really. I mean, but here's the good thing is that you guys can just, sit back and go to the Chargers Hall of Fame and look at your Super Bowl trophies to get you through these rough times, I'm sure.
Why you gotta be rude, man? Why you gotta be mean?
Wait, let me fact check. Oh, I'm so sorry you never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's been about 20 years since they've even been to the Super Bowl, and they lost it badly.
To who? To who?
To the shitty San Francisco 49ers.
So let's not forget that the number one evil here is out, okay? The San Francisco 49ers.
Well, I grew up in the Bay Area, so I had kind of fond memories of the Niners. I grew up in the Montana Steve Young era there.
Okay.
But my hatred comes with, because after the Steve Young era, the Niners sucked.
Correct.
Right? Like the Jeff Garcia era.
Correct.
And they sucked, right? And nobody in San Francisco or the Bay Area or anywhere around there gave a shit.
Right, you could get season tickets then for sure.
Yeah, you could, and then now all of a sudden they start winning again, and my Twitter feeds and my Facebook feeds and all that shit is just filled with nothing but Niner love and who's got it better than us and
I hate that shit.
All that stupid bullshit. And I'm so fucking glad they lost. Because it shut everybody up, made them realize that Colin Kaepernick is not the quarterback that everybody says.
No, he's not. Thank you. Speak it, Steven.
And it made them realize that they're not invincible. They're beatable. And they got beat by the obviously better team, the Seattle Seahawks.
And, speaking of Colin Kaepernick, I've said this from the very beginning. He will beat you on his legs. There's going to be at least
for sure
3 or 4 times on third down, on 3rd and 7, too, where you really think you got him. He's going to pick those up. He is going to convert some of those just in breakdown and defense. It's third down. Defenses are excited. That's what's going to happen, especially when you're blitzing him. He's going to find lanes. But if you consistently, throughout the course of a game, and you don't play defense like the Green Bay Packers did in Week 1, to force him to pass the ball, it's just impossible. He's garbage with his arm. He can't make the different sort of throws. Like Joe Montana could whip it in there. He could lob it in there. He could throw it with different trajectories. Colin Kaepernick has one, and it's a fastball. That's it. That's all he can throw. He is absolute garbage.
It blows my mind that guys like Russell Wilson and Colin Kaepernick can be talked about as like great quarterbacks, but a guy like Tim Tebow can't find a job. Now, I'm not a fan of Tim Tebow either.
Okay, I was going to say, where are you going with this, dude?
No. All I'm saying is that they're comparable to Tim Tebow to me, but yet somehow they're heralded by the media as the next coming of Christ.
The best thing.
And Tim Tebow is just riding the bench somewhere. Not even anywhere.
Not even.
Not even anywhere.
Not even.
Yeah. So I mean, I just don't get it.
I do agree with you there, Colin Kaepernick, on the same lines as Tim Tebow. I guess Colin Kaepernick is just a little bit faster than Tim Tebow, could throw the ball better, and I guess Russell Wilson is just smarter. I guess.
I mean, I guess,
but they're close.
What you can say about those two guys is, they're excellent game managers, but they just have no accuracy, and they can't, like you said, they've only got their one-trick ponies when it comes to throwing the ball. But they can make plays with their legs. That's where they'll beat you. So,
see, but that's what I don't understand. This will be the last Tim Tebow thing. I do not want to spend much time talking about Tim Tebow.
Oh,
but,
no,
but
yeah.
in this subject, I think it's pretty pertinent that these guys are given these opportunities to make these plays, to move outside the pockets, and these coaches are playing up their strength so heavily. I don't feel like, and I don't think Tim Tebow maybe doesn't belong in the NFL. Maybe he does. He's definitely not a superstar in the NFL. But I do not think that he was ever given a fair shot in terms of a coach sitting down and being like, how can I make this offense work for Tim Tebow? Everyone's like, well, he needs to be a pocket passer.
An offense for him.
Yeah, he needs to work as a pocket passer. He needs to do this as a pocket passer. Well, no one's fucking Pete Carroll in Seattle is not saying, well, Russell Wilson needs to be a pocket passer. That's how it's going to be because that's the way the NFL is. And if you can't do it, get out.
That's the genius of guys like Pete Carroll or Jim Harbaugh. They're able to.
Whoa! Fuck Jim Harbaugh, Steven. No genius in Steve Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh.
The dude took his team to 3 straight NFC conference championships. That's pretty impressive. His first 3 years of his coaching career, that's pretty impressive. He may be an asshole. He may be a hypocrite.
Maybe Steven. Yeah. God.
He may be a hypocrite when it comes to yelling at the, he'll be the first guy to call for a flag when there's an incomplete pass, but yet when the Niners are on defense and they're holding someone, he'll throw a fit that there was a flag thrown.
Yeah, and spit will be projecting from his mouth and all that stupid.
Exactly. And Pete Carroll's the same way. They're both a bunch of loudmouth assholes on the sidelines, and I hate it, but.
See, but that's where Bill Belichick is different too. It's like Bill Belichick is still equally an asshole, but yet he's silent on the sidelines. It seems like all the time. Tom Brady, I do agree, he bitches a ton, but Bill Belichick is like a stone wall on the sideline.
Yeah, also another coaching genius. I mean, how can that guy take this Patriots team with all the injuries and the lack of a receiving core and take them to the AFC Championship game?
I really just wish Bill Belichick would come to Green Bay and coach Aaron Rodgers, for God's sakes.
You not a McCarthy fan?
I've been a huge McCarthy fan this entire time, but the last couple of years, it's just too easy for me to call out plays. It's like a first down, like deep post, second down, run up the middle to NBC, and all of a sudden it's second and 7 or third and 7, and you're like, well, here we fucking go. We're gonna do another deep route with Aaron Rodgers, and we're gonna punt. It happens over and over and over. First down incompletion, second down, run up the gut, and you got third and long. I've seen it.
But is that a problem with him or the offensive coordinator?
Mike McCarthy calls the plays in Green Bay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I guess it is a problem with him. And why do teams even have an offensive coordinator if the head coach is calling the plays?
I don't know. I don't understand that at all. That's why, and you know what? That's a great point because I've always one of my things about Jim Harbaugh is when you do call him a coaching genius. Do you know that Jim Harbaugh doesn't call plays on offense or defense?
Really? So
yeah.
Then what's the deal? Then what the hell does he do?
He just bitches on the sidelines. That's literally it. That's all. That is literally all Jim Harbaugh is there to do is bitch on the sidelines and slap Alex Smith on the shoulder pad of Colin Kaepernick. They're the same dude. They both aren't going to get it done. Let me tell you that. I did that on purpose, everyone. That was not a speech thing. Colin Kaepernick is probably worse than Alex Smith. I just want to bring that up.
Yeah, both are sitting at home on the bench right now.
So moving on to the two teams that won, we talked about the Seahawks a little bit. We haven't talked about the Broncos. Who do you like? I mean, we're going to get into this in more depth next week when we do the show, the pre-Super Bowl. Hopefully we do a pre-Super Bowl. Hopefully we do a post-Super Bowl. Hopefully we even do a live Super Bowl. Let's try to do a live Super Bowl or something while the Super Bowl's going. Try to do something. Maybe. We'll see. Sure. Yeah. But so you're asking who I like in the game? Yeah. Preliminary, 2 weeks out. What are your opinions? And here's another thing. While you think about this, what do you think about the outdoor New York thing? Do you think that's a good idea? Let's start there and then go into that.
I don't think it's a good idea in terms of what it's going to make for a good game, but I think it could be fun if it starts snowing and stuff like that.
But
could be a fun watch, I guess.
do you think it affects the level playing field that the Super Bowl is?
Not necessarily, because both of those teams. I mean, Seattle's not necessarily a warm area, and they're used to rain and stuff like that. And Denver's not exactly warm either; they're used to the cold. So yeah, I think it's pretty level playing field. I think they're
But if you can have it there, what's stopping? Okay, if you have a Super Bowl in New York, what's stopping you from having a Lambeau? I mean, aren't there going to be calls all across the NFL to be like, hey, if you're going to have it in cold weather territory, why aren't you having it at my stadium? Let's see a Super Bowl.
I think the only argument to not have it other places is the fact that their stadiums might be old or incapable of handling that. Incapable of, did you say Qualcomm? Yeah, Qualcomm's a piece of shit. But yeah, I mean that it'd be the incapable of handling that amount of.
I think Qualcomm would break.
Attention.
I think it would just literally just collapse. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree that they're talking about a new stadium down there. In all honesty, I hope they just move up to LA.
I was gonna say they're talking about no team down there.
Yeah, I think
which is sad because San Diego seems like a great place for an NFL team. I'd hate to see an NFL team move back up to LA because it's proven twice that it doesn't work. But I would hate to see the Chargers do that. And Philip Rivers is not going to be able to pull off a bolo tie in Los Angeles. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Philip Rivers can pull off a bolo tie anywhere.
How many kids does Philip Rivers have? For the record, Steven, how many kids does that guy have?
I think it's 6. I think he has
that guy's
6
got
kids.
so many fucking kids that when he retires from the NFL, he is going to be one of those shows on like A&E, like the Philip Rivers quadruple teenlets. I don't even know how to say like 13 kids, whatever that word is.
It'll have some horrible name like the Rivers Clan or something like that.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. This guy's just going to be like, I don't know how to handle my kids now that I can't afford someone to take care of them.
It's just going to be him back in Arkansas just living it up.
God damn it. He's going to put those kids to work is what he's going to do. It's going to be Rivers and Sons like log homes, and he's going to be having all his sons like chopping wood someplace. I swear to God.
Just going to be mending fences on their ranch.
Wow. And we obviously saw a great thing happen in one of the NFC Championship game. Navarro Bowman's legs snapping the wrong way. One of the great parts. Which brings me to my next point.
You can't say injuries is a great thing.
What?
You can't say injuries are a great thing.
Navarro Bowman's an asshole, Steven.
He may be an asshole, but you can't hope for injuries. How many times is
Navarro Bowman thinking as he's trying to hurt somebody, hit somebody, I'm going to try to hurt this person. I'm going to try to hurt this guy. Well, guess what? The quarterback rolled on you awkwardly, and you went down like a bitch.
Well, okay. What about Clay Matthews getting hurt? Hurting his little finger, hurting his little thumb. Let
me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Steven. You can try to come at me with that, but a lot of my friends will be able to tell you when we talk Packer football, I am supporting the Green Bay Packers going back to the 4-3, trading Clay Matthews because he's always a hurt bitch, and getting probably a first and second round draft pick for the dude, address our safety issue. We already have defensive ends that can play in the 4-3, i.e. Mike Neal and some of these other guys that are emerging. Who? What?
Who?
Fuck you, Steven. But just you don't watch enough football, then that's what it is.
I don't watch enough football.
I turn those tables on you there, Steven. You're going to try to who me. I'm just going to tell you, you need to watch more football. Don't ask me who any of the Chargers are.
Mike Neal, he says.
Dude, Mike Neal had a great season. I don't need to have this argument with you. First of all, Packers defense, I'm just telling you, I know you agree with the Clay Matthews thing. Your stupid ass over at, not your stupid ass, but the Chargers stupid ass would probably be the ones to make that trade and give us a first and second round pick.
To be honest, they probably would. They got a guy like Dwight Freeney this past year who went down right at the beginning of the season. Like, well, what a waste that was.
Well, that's not the first time. But listen, Navarro Bowman, okay, let's not even, I won't even be a bitch about it. I won't say how much I enjoyed it. I won't say I hope he's never the same.
Most guys are never the same ones coming back from ACL injury like that.
I mean,
Adrian Peterson excluded.
Well, I mean, he's obviously a cyborg.
Yeah.
I won't bring up juicing because everyone's like, he didn't juice. You heard him. He told us. But whatever. But the injuries this year, do you think there seems to be a lot more? The Packers always have a ton of injuries, so I'm used to dealing with it. But do you think these marquee players going down to injuries, especially huge injuries, a lot of ACLs, not only football but basketball. Is that having any sort of effect on the game of football from a fan's perspective? Because I'll tell you, I watched the Green Bay Packers for 7 weeks without Aaron Rodgers, and I know he had a freak injury in terms of like a bone break, but that sucked. That sucked a lot. Like, so many marquee players are going down with these huge injuries. I don't know. I don't know what we can do to start alleviating some of these, except for, test more for HGH and steroids.
Well,
really.
I mean, they're trying to alleviate them, but I think they're going about it all in the wrong way because, these ACL injuries, a lot of them are coming, right there at the line. You know what I mean? They're just guys getting rolled up on wrong and stuff like that, and you just can't stop that kind of stuff. It's the nature of the game. But they're trying to eliminate all these, like, you can't hit above the shoulders and you can't hit below the knees and you can't lead with the helmet and all this stuff. And what, I don't know. I just think that's leading to stuff that's not as fun and
So after you called me a bitch for wishing injuries on people, now you say we should take a more violent approach to football. So am I getting this correctly?
Not necessarily, but I mean,
hey, Roddy, don't be a bitch and say you hope for injuries, but we should be able to lead with our helmet.
I'm not saying leading with the helmet probably is a bad example, but
I like Merriweather. He's a good guy.
Or the running back lowering his head, like. Is that really like a necessary rule? And did that really change anything in the NFL? You know what I mean? Did it really affect any injuries, or are these guys are still going to hit that way? They'll take the fines, they'll take the penalty. They don't give a shit.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think these rules are really affecting the game at all, and affecting any injuries. I mean, with these rules, you're probably seeing more injuries.
Do you think that performance-enhancing drugs has anything to do with the injuries?
No, because they test all these guys for performance-enhancing drugs.
Get the fuck out of here, Steven. Come on. Okay, first of all, let's pretend like they test them all. These players are getting so big, so fast, so strong. Don't you think that's let me tell you, in 1960, there were some violent football players, but no one that was the size of what's that number 52 on 49ers? I fucking hate all their names. Patrick Willis. That fucking jabroni. The Rock shout out. No one at his size. First of all, there was no one at his size in the entire on the planet in 1960s. But like look at him compared to a big defensive threat like Jerry Kramer type situation, or like Ray Nitschke for the Packers, and they were formidable dudes, but they were like 215 pounds. They were like long and lanky, and they would hurt you and they would hit you hard. But you got Patrick Willis coming at you running like a 4.5, and he's bringing 265 pounds of pure chiseled steel. And I mean, he's got all this equipment upgrades to make him as agile and as light and as fast as possible.
Yeah, but do you think these guys in the 60s were really putting as much into their workouts and
blood,
stuff
sweat,
like that
tears,
and what
beers, man?
No, I'm talking about in terms of what they ate and what their workout regimen
beer,
was. And
Steven. Everyone back then was drunk as shit. That's what you had to be.
These guys now, I don't know if you watched the Hard Knocks before the beginning of the season, the one of the Bengals, and they show their training facility.
What the fuck would I watch that, Steven?
I don't know, because you like football.
Very good point.
But they show their training facility, and they show where they eat and their cafeteria, and they only allow them to eat certain things at certain times of the day. They provide them with a lot of fruit. They provide them with a lot of proteins, and so they're not like those guys. I would imagine those guys in the 60s just ate whatever they wanted to eat. They were just big.
My argument for all of this is that Mickey Mantle could still hit the shit out of the ball better than most players in baseball, and his performance-enhancing drugs were women, cocaine, and beer.
Sure, yeah.
And same thing with football. What they're eating has nothing to do with it. Jerry Kramer, on his.
I'm sure all that has to do with how big they get and how fast they run.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you're right, but I don't think that fucking cauliflower is the secret to their size and their speed. Moving on. The extra point, do away or stay. Ooh, that rhymed. What do you think?
I'm all for getting rid of it because did you read about what Roger Goodell's proposition is?
No.
he wants to make touchdowns worth 7 points. You get rid of the extra point,
Okay.
but you can still go for a 2-point conversion. And if you don't get the 2-point conversion, you lose that point, thus making your touchdown worth 6. But if you get the 2-point conversion, it makes it worth 8.
Okay, but why not then? Wait, why not just make all touchdowns worth 6 and you have to go for 2 on every single time?
Because then I guess that could bring about more injuries or something like that. So
What? An extra play in football? He wants to add 2 more
Sure.
fucking games. Now you're talking
Well,
about
okay,
2-point
well, if
conversions,
you-
adding more
if you-
injuries?
If you got a team like the Denver Broncos who score 42 points a game, that's 6 extra plays that game.
First of all, okay, they might be able to run away with it faster. Maybe that's what it is. I do like getting away with the extra point because it's stupid anyways. How many extra points are missed by a kicker every single year? One?
Probably 1. Yeah,
2?
probably 1. Yeah.
Some botch snap here or something.
Yeah, it's not even the kicker's fault really. It's usually a botched snap or like crazy wind or something like that.
Although
But,
I am impressed, I will tell you, the one reason to keep kicking around is I am so impressed by the long snapper to the holder exchange, like how that works and how like the kicker's nervous. Let's say the Super Bowl's on the line. It's a 53-yard kick, right? The kicker's nervous, yeah. But how fucking nervous are you as the holder? Nobody knows your name at this point. You're like the backup quarterback. You're nobody. Nobody even knows you exist. But if you fuck up that play, which is so hard, he's got to catch this little line drive hike and then spin it so that the laces aren't facing the kicker and hold it there all in like a split second, right? And if you fuck that up, everybody in the place, no. Everybody in the world knows your name. You are on every ESPN show the next morning. You probably are invited to go to like Good Morning America where they're gonna pat you on your back. You know, you're probably gonna end up like that guy in Chicago that tried to catch the foul ball. You know, that fucking guy. Like you are an outcast.
Well, yeah. Well, you saw the guy. I think it was the Saints. Their holder had the laces in.
I saw that. I did see that
and
play.
The guy missed the kick.
But that's
And then-
bullshit, though. I hated. Was that Troy Aikman working that game?
Probably.
I thought
Or
it was.
Joe Buck,
Maybe
some
it was.
asshole like that.
It obviously had to be Fox, so it probably was Troy Aikman. I did not like that they zoomed in on that and brought that up. You are a fucking kicker. Whether it's the laces, whether it's the good part of the ball, whether he's got it like fucking teed up good or whether he doesn't have it teed up good. Like if you can't kick with the goddamn laces pointed towards you, you shouldn't be in the NFL. Do you see Adam Vinatieri in that Rangers game? Do you think he was worried about what fucking direction the laces were going? Nah, he made like a 44-yarder in the worst conditions I've ever seen.
But if that's the only thing you do, you want it to be perfect every time, right?
What?
You
Aaron
probably have a
Rodgers
ritual
isn't
and
going to
you
get a
probably have
perfect
specific-
snap every time. Peyton Manning isn't going to get perfect wind every time. You know, Philip Rivers is inherently not going to be perfect every time.
Inherently, yeah, one of the top 4 offenses in the league this year is not going to be
Get
perfect
the
every time.
fuck
Inherently.
out of here.
You can't.
Top
Philip
4
Rivers is the
offenses
comeback
in the
player of the
league.
year, my friend.
What?
You can't. He was named the comeback player of the year.
What does that
You
even
can't
mean?
tell
What
me
is
that-
the comeback player? All that means is he had to suck to get it. Aaron Rodgers
Yeah.
will never win the comeback player of the year. You know why? Because
You
he's
know
got
why he
nothing to
sucked?
come back from.
You know why he sucked? Because he was trying to put too much on his shoulders. He cared about his
Get the
team
fuck.
so much.
He still
that
threw it
put
like
too
40
much on
times a
his fucking
game
shoulders.
this year. What are you
And he was
talking
too
about? He wasn't
stressed
trying to
out.
put it on his shoulders. Who the fuck else was going to take it off the Chargers' shoulders this year?
This past year?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Ryan Matthews, one of the top 10 running backs in the league.
Wow, the
Or
first
Keenan
time
Allen-
Ryan Matthews
Keenan
has
Allen, the rookie of the
Eddie's-
year.
fuck, a guy who has less yards than Eddie Lacy coming off the worst rushing offense pretty much in the history of the game the last 5 years for the Green Bay Packers. He has less yards than that guy, and he plays in a warmer, better environment for the entire year. Yeah, that guy, he's so amazing. He's really taking all that pressure right off Phillip Rivers. Where was he when Phillip Rivers was about to get bounced out of Colorado, which Phillip Rivers actually has had success with in the past couple of years? Where was Ryan Matthews? Hey,
He was unfortunately hurt.
Oh,
He was hurt, my friend.
the entire game.
Yeah, they took him out early because his ankle. Was
You know,
busted up.
I've had Ryan Matthews twice in fantasy. I didn't watch the Denver Chargers game. I do apologize. I was busy with real life things. But I have had Ryan Matthews in 2 fantasy leagues, not like in the same year, like different years. And do you know both times he completely fucked me over by being mediocre, inconsistent, and hurt.
Do you know in the 4 years that Ryan Matthews has played 2 times he was a top 10 fantasy running back?
I got him those other 2 times. That's the only thing I can think of because he never came through for me.
That's the Roddy Dukes luck right there.
It really is. But 1 year in fantasy football, I got Tom Brady the year he threw 50 touchdowns. And I didn't even have to fucking substitute people in or do anything that year. It was just like, oh, Tom Brady scored another 112 points this week. Great.
It's like anyone who had Peyton Manning this year. You just leave him in there.
That was so dumb. Dude, okay, to bring that up really quick, I fucking hate Peyton Manning, and I fucking hate how many touchdowns he gets because let me tell you, Brett Favre, and I know I'm going to... Okay, wait, shut up, Steven. I know I'm going to sound like just another Packer fan, but this is the truth, and I hope you can back me up on this, Steven. Brett Favre, when he was at the 2-yard line, was not throwing the ball. I have not seen more coaches, and maybe it's Peyton checking it off at the line. I have not seen more quarterbacks, and I would like to look this stat up at some point. I've never seen a quarterback.
That's a next level stat right there.
Throwing more touchdowns inside the 5-yard line. I mean, when everyone else is handing it off and letting the running backs punch it in, this guy is padding his stats with touchdown throws. I swear to God.
If it works, then why not?
I know it's just
their receivers and their tight end are so good that why would you give it to the running back?
Man, I really thought Peyton Manning was going to break his neck this year too. I really did. That's not even being a Peyton hater or anything. I really just thought he was going to break his neck this year. So kudos to him for getting it done and keeping his neck in one piece.
Do you think he retires if they win the Super Bowl?
I would hope so because honestly, as a person, I would like to see Peyton Manning go before he takes a huge cheap shot from somebody and really hurts himself. The guy's wearing a fucking glove because he can't feel his fingertips. You know what I mean? If they win the Super Bowl, it's going to be hard for him to leave because he still has such an awesome team.
Because the team is so good.
Yeah, you can come back and compete the next year, but I really would hope that he's got the balls to walk away at some point. Brett Favre, I bring up Brett Favre again. Remember how he went down? In a cold day at Minnesota University Field or whatever the fuck it is, getting his head bounced off of that concrete, that fake playing field that's pretty much like AstroTurf, not even the good stuff, out in the middle of fucking January, December, whatever it was, trying to win for nobody, for no reason, nothing left to prove, and he's getting his ass bounced around. I'd hate to see that happen to Peyton Manning. I'd like to watch it, but years later, I'd hate to see that.
Yeah, I mean... I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I think he probably should retire, but I don't think he's going to.
Either way, fuck him.
I mean, why you wouldn't give up that team?
He's a nice guy. I like his commercials. So whatever he wants to do.
You're a big fan of Papa John's?
Yeah. Well, I was really a big fan of his commercial where he was rooting for the bag board. Remember he would cheer for people doing normal shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Those are some good commercials. That was moving on. Football. We just spent a good amount of time talking about football. I do want.
But by the way, the Broncos are my pick for the Super Bowl.
I hope to God. But you know what? But wait, before we move on, I would love to see Richard Sherman talk about the Super Bowl. And I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon of Richard Sherman bashing or whatever it is. I loved his post game. I loved his post game speech.
I did too. I thought it was great.
Everything was. I wish he would have kept going. I don't know why he ran away from Aaron. I wish he would have kept staring into the camera.
I think she ran away from him.
Yeah, that could be it. He was just like, I have never seen a more angry gentleman after winning such a big football game. I've seen jubilation. I've seen happy. He's like, "Hey!" I've never seen anything like it.
I think he's just pumped up, man.
It was amazing, and you know what? It's good for him. I've been a hater of his, and man, the guy just keeps showing up. I think he plays too physical. I think a lot of other corners around the league get flagged for shit that he does on a regular basis, but he made a great play on that last ball. I'll tell you that much. Did you see? Did you see his press conference?
I didn't. No.
At the very end of his press conference, I wish I could bring this up and let it play. But at the very end of his press conference, they go, "So what were you trying to say?" Because he was talking, and he was saying thank you to the 49er fans for giving them inspiration by their hatred. And then he brought up at the end, like, what were you trying to say to Aaron? He's like, oh, that, and then he gets real close to the microphone. He gets real close and really, like, talking like he's talking to kindergartners so that he makes sure to get his message across. You know what I talk about? And he's like, I just want to say that Michael Crabtree is a mediocre receiver. Mediocre. Like that.
He's kind of right.
He is. And Michael Crabtree, remember when he held out like a bitch for his rookie year there? Yeah, he's had that same mentality all the way through, even though he hasn't done shit ever, and he's always hurt.
Yeah, he's super mediocre.
All right, moving on to basketball. We don't really have much to say about basketball, and that's the whole point too, I guess, is that it's really lack of interest this year. NCAA, it's not fun anymore. It seems more of that one-and-done culture that we never used to have. The NBA, I mean, it's there. You know, it is what it is.
Well, I mean, they have that. I think part of the reason why NCAA isn't as fun anymore is because there's that rule now where in order to get into the NBA draft, you have to have, I believe it's 1 year,
yeah.
of college ball.
Well, not even college
so
ball.
Like,
it's just got to be 1 year outside of college.
Out of high school,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So I mean, and so most of those guys are going to go spend that in 1 year of college. Right. So you don't have any way to like latch on to a team or like. You don't know who's on the team every year,
right? That's why they're putting so much. That's why I put so much high school basketball on ESPN now. It's because if you're going to be a fan of college basketball, you know you're always constantly looking at what's next. Who are my recruits? Because your team changes so much year after year. Even a team like Duke, who I pride on being a team and not getting into that garbage, they have to do it to keep up. Like all their best players are gone in a year. You don't know who's on your team. If you miss 3 games, the whole fucking roster has changed.
Yeah, and you can't even build that team camaraderie or anything like that. It just it sucks.
Yeah, it really
that's
it
what
really
it boils down to. Is it just sucks?
Because then you could just if you didn't have that rule, you could let all that trash just get right into the NBA where they want to be, where they belong, all that shit, and then we could get back to college basketball. We could get back to 5th-year seniors and that sort of shit. You know, those good stories where this guy's like playing so hard, so long, and he's just trying to win an NCAA championship, even though he's going to be a forklift driver, you know, next year or whatever it is. You know, how it is.
Yeah, he was a walk-on or what have you.
Right,
you know,
the
that
Rudy
sort of thing,
story.
so.
You know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And you actually brought up an interesting thing, and you're in LA still. I don't live in LA anymore, so you know more about this. You brought up the Lakers. What are you saying about the Lakers?
Well, I've been seeing some things. I've been seeing some tweets. I've been hearing guys at work talk about it. You know, the thought of the Lakers tanking just for a better draft position. And I wondered what you thought about that.
And what's their record right now? By the way, it's bad. I know it's like 10 games under 500 or something.
Yeah, they haven't.
Well, listen, they might as well. I guess that's my opinion. But it's like a double-edged sword. They have nobody on that roster that's going to make this year a championship year. I think we can both agree with that.
Yeah, they're all hurt.
And they're all nobodies.
Like
I don't know anybody on the. I watched the Lakers game. I'm like, who the fuck are these guys in yellow? Who are these people? Who are they?
Yeah.
Steve Blake's the goddamn point. Oh my god! You know, like what is going on? I've been calling for Steve Blake's head ever since he graduated from Oak Hill Academy. Look, I hated Steve Blake in Maryland. For all of you Duke lovers, Jason Williams era, fuck Steve Blake. I wish he would be that good right now for the Lakers as he was for Maryland, but he's not. He's a joke. But here's the thing. Who's coming out of the NCAA who's worth a damn?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you don't even know. I don't know. Do you know? There's nobody. So what? Is it really worth tanking so you can enter that lottery and perhaps get the number 1 pick, or you perhaps get like the number 8th or 10th pick?
You know, 8 through 10 is bad. You know, but that's probably there's some teams in the NBA, Steven, that are so bad that that's even if they try to purposely tank, that's what they're going to get. They're still going to get like a 5 to 10th pick. Like the Milwaukee Bucks are sitting like 7-32. I mean, you're not gonna underperform the Milwaukee Bucks at this point. You know what I mean? There's more teams like the Milwaukee Bucks. There's probably like 5 or 6 other teams that are doing just as bad as those teams. That's why the NBA sucks so much too, is it's so lopsided. But to tie this up and what we were talking about as well, Gabraham posted an article on TrashYourTeam.com, and he was about LeBron, and he actually brought up that the number 1 right now. They're talking about the number 1 guy coming out of the draft, Jabari Parker out of Duke, and Mr. Ford from ESPN.com had actually said that Jabari Parker reminded him of a less athletic version of big dog Glenn Robinson. And Gabraham brought up the fact that if you're less athletic than Glenn Robinson,
Then what are you doing playing basketball?
the ceiling is pretty low, is what he was trying to say. So I don't know if it's worth tanking too much, but I think you're going to get like you said, you're going to get just as good a player out of 8 through 10 as you are 1 through 3. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they're all going to be about the same caliber, and then you're probably not going to hear about any of them.
And it goes even deeper. You're a LA Laker. The LA Lakers in terms of NBA are like the Green Bay Packers of the NFL, where it's like Titletown and all these championships.
Yeah. I mean, that's
there's no tanking in LA.
and that's the thing is like you usually want to. Any team usually wants to play for pride. Like, look at I mean, not to bring it back to football, but look at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right.
Obviously, one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Right.
But they played their hearts out through the end of the year. Or look at like the New York Jets. Right. They had no playoff aspirations at all.
Right.
But they said, you know what? Fuck you, Miami. We're gonna take you down.
That's true.
And they took them down.
That's true.
And for no reason. They could have lost the game and probably got 1 or 2 spots better in the draft, but they said, fuck you, we're taking you out. You took us out of the playoffs, we're going to take you out of the playoffs.
But to that as well, you talk about football, they play once a week. I mean, these guys got to play 4 times a week. It's like, fuck.
That's the thing.
Losing once a week is nothing.
Can you really tank in basketball without making it obvious? And if you make it obvious, your town is going to turn on you.
Well, yeah, that's
time.
another point. You want to win in LA just to keep everybody happy. They turn cars and start fires and break open building fronts for winning.
It's not a cheap ticket either.
Exactly.
If I'm going to spend $80 to go to a basketball game, I want to see them win.
Right. You don't want to see the Clippers beat the Lakers, that sort of shit. Like, that doesn't fly in LA, Clippers being better than the Lakers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's what's going on right now. And apparently it does fly in LA because everybody in LA is a Clipper fan now. But that's a whole nother topic.
It's the same old story. Welcome to sports. Welcome to the San Francisco 49ers type deal.
Yeah, I mean it's
Well,
or the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks are the team everybody's glomming onto now.
Well,
if someone has never watched football before, they start loving the Seahawks.
Right. Well, yeah.
I hate it.
I mean, you know how it is. All the casual fans need to pick a team right now because everybody cares about the Super Bowl, even though they don't care about the whole season. That's whatever. I had to deal with like fucking. I play Madden. I had to deal with like everybody picking the Packers after 2010. It's like, what the fuck? I used to be the only person that picked the Packers. Like, I never had the problem where the other dude picks the Packers and then quits because I'm already the Packers. You know, it's like, fuck. Yeah. You know, you used to always be like, all right, Patriots, Packers, let's go. Niners, Packers, let's go.
I've never had that problem.
No, nobody's ever going to be the Chargers.
Yeah, nobody ever wants to pick the Chargers.
Nobody's ever going to be the Chargers. Well, listen, Steven, it's been a great show. We went over a little bit. I want to make sure we keep our listeners into it. We're aiming for a half an hour right now, folks. If you hate it at the length, if you want it even shorter, if you want it longer, let us know. But if no one says dick, which is I'm assuming no one will say dick, we're going to try to keep it about a half an hour. I think we had some good conversations, Steven.
Yeah, it was great. I had fun.
I had a lot of fun too. I hope we pissed some people off and hope we made some people happy. If you guys have anything to say or anything to add, obviously you can go to trashyourteam.com. You can go to the submit if that's what you want to do. You can say something to us. You can add something to the show. You want us to talk about anything, that's what you can do. I can't tell you exactly what day we're always going to record on, but I hope that Steven is here to join me for the long haul. Steven?
Yeah, I plan on it, man. Plan on being every week.
Perfect. So expect to hear from us either before, after, or during, or any combination of those, the Super Bowl. And watch for us again. Hopefully, we're probably going to record next Sunday. Steven, are you down for next Sunday? Are you traveling?
I'll be at our buddy Jay's house next Sunday.
Perfect. So maybe we should get him on the line as well.
Yeah, we'll hear him talk about his lack of football knowledge.
Either way, next weekend, look for another show, and then look for Super Bowl broadcasts from us here at TrashYourTeam.com. I'm Roddy.
I'm Steve.
Thanks for joining us. Awesome, dude.